Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Kingdom of the Kael Isle. Yes, this is my custom D&D campaign, um, and the people below me are the people that are playing. Um, as as a quick announcement, um, I just started a brand new series on my YouTube channel called Play Your Faves. I basically take characters from video games, movies, comic books, whatever, and turn them into character sheets that you can literally play at your next gaming table. And I even went a step further to make sure all the characters I make are Adventure League legal. So if you want to play these characters in the Adventure League, you can. So yeah, check it out. It's at youtube.com/Trainer Jody. And if you have suggestions for characters you'd like to see me create, you can tweet them at me, comment on the video, whatever. Anyway, that's the only real announcement I have. So I think it's time to head back to the kingdom of the Kael Isles.
And the cliffhanger we left off on.
Yeah. So to kind of bring everyone back, these guys finally made it back to the Kael Isles after having been in the Feywild for what they felt was about a month-ish, if I remember correctly. But they'd actually been gone from the Kael Isles for many months. And when they got back, they had a welcoming party that consisted of dragons,
Yep.
breathing lightning, and fire. So that's always an interesting take on the welcoming party motif. They were able to meet up with the serrated death and Fade's family, and found that there was a resistance to these dragons, but the Kael Isles themselves have been taken over by dragons. And each dragon is trying to kind of lay claim over different territory. They went back to secure the portal to the Feywild after finding their friend Aramis from the Feywild had come with them, or had followed them at least. And yeah, they fought off two adult dragons. I mean, that is not a easy task. After the Eternal Empress and the Prince Consort came through with their troops and made a foothold around the around the portal, the avatar of the Dark Lady mentioned that there was more that they needed to know, and she led them to this kind of secret chamber, away from the portal a little bit and into the mountains a little bit. And it was there that she mentioned that Willow is apparently a muse named Polyhymnia. And that was where we ended last time. So just a second here. Get some mood music. Uh, uh, okay, so you guys again are in this very big, uh, kind of almost regal cave, but there are uh, no windows or anything like that, and there's this strange altar in the back. That again, Willow, for some odd reason, you feel somewhat that it's familiar to you, but you can't really tell why. And the Dark Lady has just mentioned the name Polyhymnia, which is hard to say with a stutter.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you hear that name, you suddenly feel this kind of rush of emotions, this kind of pretty intense nostalgia, almost homesickness when you hear that name. And you can't really explain why or how, but for some odd reason, just hearing that name feels comforting. Like you've been away from home and prevented from going home for decades, and you finally crested that last hill and saw your home for the first time in decades.
Willow's kind of just running her hand over the words on the top of the altar,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of trying to understand why she recognizes it.
So you guys notice the Dark Lady has kind of taken a step back and let Willow kind of explore the space, and Willow seems almost laser focused on the altar. Is there anything you guys want to do?
I kind of look between the two of them, seeing the Dark Lady step back. I'm just like, okay. So I step back, but I message Willow at the same time. What does this mean? Do you need anything?
Fuck is going on?
Don't know.
She just kind of looks up at Fade and I don't know. I've never been here, but I know this place.
A truer statement could not have been stated. And the Dark Lady kind of chimes in and steps closer to you again. I know this must seem overwhelming and confusing.
Confusing, yeah.
But I promise you, eventually you'll understand just how important you are. But
Important for what?
in order for you to understand that, you need to understand where I come from. When the world was young and the races were starting to form from the primordial energies that forged this world from the chaos of creation. The world had no laws. It had no rules. Anyone could do anything. That created issues. eventually there was a spark that grew in certain individuals. This spark made them hyper sensitive to the needs of the world and to the motivations of the peoples around them. This spark eventually split into 9 perfect pieces, I think. Hold, please.
You told us 9 before.
Yeah, I was checking to make sure I didn't forget the number. Yeah, the 9 perfect pieces. I'm super prepared. What are you talking about?
Go on.
And these 9 pieces of inspiration eventually began to call themselves the Muses. They would see what the world needed to function. And then they would find individuals that could fill that need, that had the passion, the drive to do what was needed. They inspired these people to do great things. They inspired those around them to revere these people, to eventually worship them. And through that inspiration, through that worship, these people were elevated to the status of gods. So quite literally, without the Muses, I would not exist. I was ascended to control a very important and necessary aspect of life, the end. Since my ascension, I have watched over the passage of life into death. I have done my best to ferry the souls of the dead to their resting place, and many, many other things that in my present form I can barely comprehend. These mortal bodies are somewhat limited. When the chosen war started, as much as the guiding beacon would have you believe it was about protecting and shaping the mortal races, that wasn't it at all. As the world became more complex, more rules and more gods were necessary to keep it running the way it should. But with each new ascension, the amount of power any god could control was limited. So at a certain point, the guiding beacon decided there were enough gods, and the Muses were no longer needed. There was some disagreement on this. To ensure no one else could threaten his power, Guiding Beacon slew the Muses every last one. So no more gods could be created. However, as much as he is the Lord of the sun and understands light in ways that no other being can, he did not quite understand what the Muses were. They were not physical beings. They were inspiration incarnate. Because of that, inspiration does not die. It can be suppressed. It can be discouraged. It can be trapped through hatred, through abuse, but it can never be extinguished. So sure enough, the spark has returned. And it is returned in you, Willow.
Just in me?
To be completely honest, I don't know. My ability to see the world is limited by these eyes. But I can see it in you very clearly. And just as before, where there is one Muse, there will be more. This presents a danger to all of you. The Muses can create gods. They can threaten the balance of power. The guiding beacon is chosen, and his allies and their chosen will not take lightly to this, especially since the first Muse in a millennia just so happens to be traveling with my chosen. You will be a target in a way that you have never experienced before.
So, just another day in this fucked up world.
Mm-hmm.
You could say that. Again, not an entirely inaccurate statement, though. Does not quite encompass the breadth of everything going on.
If we're going to be hunted for memories and powers that I don't have, how do I get them back?
Well, this is a first step. This was your home millennia ago. This is where you could contact the other Muses. She kind of takes you by the hand and leads you behind the altar, and you see kind of an alcove cut into the ground, and inside it you see a lot of dust, but also a pillow, a blanket, and various items you think at one point might have been trinkets, but time has eroded them to just pieces of wood and stone and things like that. This is where you could rest and plan your next move. And this, she takes you to the back wall. And now that you're here, you can see the back wall is this massive, like 30-foot high bas relief. And as you're looking at it, you're kind of blown away by what you see. It's huge and unbelievably detailed. And after looking at it for just a moment, you instantly recognize this is a map. But you're looking at it and you don't really see things that make sense to you, things that are familiar to you. As you look at it more and more, and the rest of you guys are kind of watching this too, you start noticing that different parts of the map don't look quite right. And as you look at them a second time, you could have sworn that there's something there just a few seconds ago that's not. You don't remember that aspect being there before. And you guys suddenly realize as Willow is looking at it, the map is changing.
Huh?
And the dark lady kind of just puts a hand on your shoulder and goes, "It's been a long time since this map was updated." And as you look closer, you finally can see what it is this is. And the very center of the map is the Kael Isles. And to the north, there's a large kind of oblong continent, much larger than anything you've ever seen. To the east is this kind of circular continent that looks like it's been cut into three. To the west, there's this string of islands that look to be probably 10 times the size of the Kael Isles. And then to the south, there's just this icy, frozen continent. But as you look harder, you can see that only takes up a small portion of this massive map. To the left of the prime material plane, you see the Verdant Empire and the 4 elemental kingdoms. And you're not sure if it's a trick of your eyes or the light or whatever. But as you look, you can actually see the borders shifting every so often in the areas that you know there was conflict before you left. When you look to the right, you see this massive, dark area. There's all these large and small islands scattered throughout it. And the rest of it is just water as far as you can see. To the north of it, you can see an area connected to it that seems to almost shine with light. And to the south, a similar area that shines with this kind of red, almost fire to it. What would you like to do?
Well, looks at Fade and says, "I've seen this before."
Go on.
What was on in the library?
Mm-hmm.
With that book?
I didn't take any notes. Faye didn't take any notes on any of that shit.
Well, Willow did. I have a map written.
Okay.
gone out. That's exactly the same.
Well, it seems to me. See, I already knew you were the intelligent one, but you're the idea girl now. What do you think? What do you think? Come up with an idea. What do you think? This obviously means something. It's all connected. Damned if I know how.
Hmm. I can only assume it's something about Muses understanding the needs of the world. But I don't know how to do that. I don't remember.
You
I don't know
will
how to remember.
eventually. It will seem like you've always known it. The first polyhymnia carried around a lyre. And as she met new people, she would write songs and use their reaction to the music and the lyrics to learn about them. You yourself don't seem to be quite as musically focused, but I see you've
No.
recently created a new item.
Mm-hmm. She pulls out the goggles and looks at them.
Items like this will help you to focus and harness your natural abilities. Eventually, you may not need them, but at this early stage, they will be invaluable. And you will feel almost compelled to continue improving it as you learn to harness more of your abilities.
With all due respect, is there some way that we can kickstart this? We're in kind of some shit right now, and we need to get you home.
It has already been kick-started, my champion. She can see things she couldn't before. You've realized it recently. I can see it in your eyes. You've been keeping it to yourself, haven't you?
Been a busy few days.
Well, these strange new experiences will happen more and more frequently. And you should embrace them, not fear them. For it is simply you regaining your control of your natural abilities. This also means you will start seeing your friends here in a slightly different light. You'll know the things that motivate them. You'll know what to say when they need something say. You'll start to know what to do when they need you to do something. And they will become more and more powerful as you gain more control.
Kind of mosey over. You good? I know this feeling.
I know you too.
You're not
I'll
alone.
hold the goggles. I know. I didn't know how I knew how to make these. It's a bit bigger of a Y than I was expecting.
Well, come on, put them on. Let's see.
That means that I can help you figure this out better. And I will. Let's see.
Oh, those look good. Oh, yeah.
There's one red lens and one blue lens. That's for 3D, yeah.
Double scouters.
Mhm.
There's nothing Fade has that is over 9,000. Put that out right now.
Angst is there, though. It's getting close.
I've got my rage. I could reach 9,000 if I
Oh,
wanted
do
to.
it. I start poking Avok. Get upset.
Okay, I'm gonna poke you back.
Remember, when he gets pissed off, he gets spiky.
Stay away from me when I get pissed. Anywho,
Because she hasn't done it before, Willow looks through the crimson lens and takes a look at her friends
Okay,
and wants
you'll need
to
to
understand.
focus on one of them.
Still poking Avok. Poke.
Honestly, I wanted to look at Ava first.
Okay. So, is that a perception check versus something, or I don't have it open right now.
No. So, as an action, I learn his AC and can give any ally who can hear me +3 to their next attack roll. So for flavor, I kind of wanted to know where Avok is weak to give him pointers, or what he's leaving open that he's not noticing, that sort of thing.
Tell me.
wait, what?
I get to look at people and know their AC and their weak points, essentially.
Okay, AC 18.
Okay.
Yeah. What else do you want to know?
Oh, no, so basically the way it works is I can now tell someone, in this instance, Fade, where to attack, and they get a +3 to attack. But I would also tell Avok if I know what to tell.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, Willow, as you look at him, not only are you looking at Avok himself, but you're starting to see things you're not used to seeing. You notice his stance. You can almost see visually where his center of gravity is. And you can tell how far it would need to be pushed in order to topple him over. You can see his remarkably thick skin, and you can see the little parts where it's not quite as thick, or where there's nerve clusters where he would not want to be hit.
Uh-huh.
Is Avok paying attention to Willow?
Avok's looking at Willow just like, okay. This is over his head pretty much. He doesn't understand anything really with all this. It's just like, okay, from what he gathers, Willow is special now.
So Willow,
Well, more special than she already has been.
so knowing this, you can give a tip basically to someone else and have them attack Avok.
Right.
Or rather, they can choose to attack Avok with that knowledge. Excuse me.
Right.
Choose at your own risk.
So she just kind of stands there looking very curiously and shifts a little bit and looks back at Avok and goes, the way you're holding yourself, you're kind of leaving your right side open. And she looks at Fade. And
I attack his right side.
Okay. Make me just a regular strength attack roll.
You get +3.
All right, first one. 1,000,000,000.
Is not aware
25.
of the number on a d20. So Avok, as you're sitting there, you kind of do a mental checkup on yourself, and you go, "Oh yeah, it makes sense." Just from your own fighting experience, like that's a good point. And as you start to move your arm to kind of cover that flank,
Right here.
you feel the knuckles of Fade just clip right into your kidney.
It's only 1 point of damage.
Well,
I'm not proficient in hands.
Strength.
I'm not proficient.
No, even if you're not proficient, it's 1 plus strength.
Okay, so 4 points.
Proficient just means you can add your proficiency bonus to the attack roll. So you feel a little bit of bruise there. It hurts. If you've ever been punched in the kidneys, it's not an enjoyable experience.
Actually, I mean, hit him hard.
Why did I hit Avok hard? He's so nice.
Oh, Faye, the next time I need to take a piss, I know where I'm going.
Where?
I'm going to very quickly refresh it. I don't see Kata. Okay, I got everyone but Avok.
I see him.
Avok, can you reconnect or refresh? I can't see it.
Oh, and I left Gate again.
Roll 20, we love you. And with that, I will be looking for a new video chat program. If anyone has recommendations, I'm willing to hear them. Free is best. So, having kind of seen everything and seen what Will can do now, what do you guys want to do?
Take a minute, Willow. Like, if this is your place, like, let's look around.
She kind of goes back to the little spot that was a bed and sees if you can find anything in it that's still held up over time.
Okay, go ahead and roll me an investigation check.
Uh, 13.
Okay, so looking through it again, you get this almost overwhelming nostalgia feeling. As you're going, you start picking up the kind of remnants. Some of them just crumble as you touch them. But one in particular, as you're looking at it, it's a little stone thing. It's about that big, and it's longer than it is wide. As you're looking at it, it's been worn smooth from time. As you're looking at it, you can kind of see the outlines of a carving of a flower. And you just get this kind of flashback memory of lying in bed, and you get this overwhelming feeling of just kind of exhaustion and despair. And you actually feel tears start streaming down your face as you're just so just destroyed emotionally. And you look over and you pick up this little carving of a flower. And for whatever reason, it just starts healing those emotional wounds. And you look at it and you kind of smile through the tears and just kind of have your thumb trace over the petals and the stem and the leaves. And you just feel kind of content. And then you're back with everyone else.
You okay there?
And you kind of bring your hand up and your cheeks are wet.
You're crying.
That was weird.
Mm.
Would mending make it a rock again, or would it bring back the carving?
Make a rock,
You
probably.
don't
That's
know.
probably.
You've never tried it, but you can if you want to.
She picks up something else that doesn't have this emotional tie now and tries it on that first.
As you look at it, it's just a rock to you. And as you try and cast mending on it, it makes a rock. But you don't know it as anything else.
Hmm. And she tries it on the side.
And as you sit there, you notice the grooves themselves get deeper. The rock itself.
Keep up the good work, Jody.
Thank you for the donation, Dalton. Always appreciated. As you're sitting there focusing on it, the rock starts to kind of reform. And after, about a minute of focusing, I think that's how long the spell takes. You look at it and, yeah, you've got this very intricate carving of a flower. It's basically the rock. If you were to like chop a rock in half and then or carve half of a rock away, on the back it's just a smooth stone, and on the front it's this little flower.
Oh.
You do notice in the center where the part of the flower that I can't remember what it's called, but it's where they keep the pollen. There's a recess there, like it's missing something. And as you kind of look back in your mind, trying to remember, you remember that there used to be a gemstone there.
Don't know what kind.
What? What did you say, Will? I didn't hear you.
I remember what kind of gem it was.
You're not 100% certain. You think it was yellow.
Okay.
Statement. Thank you, Katie.
Mhm.
I used to know all that stuff.
I had to look it up.
She glances down just to see if it had fallen out in the ground around her, but assumes that she would
Yeah,
have seen it.
you kind of searched pretty well, and unless you basically take out the bedding, there's not a whole lot more searching you could do. But you're fairly certain it's not in there.
Used to be a gem in this, so if you see one, let me know. I don't know why I know that, but I know that. And she kind of walks and just continues to hold the flower and look around the rest of the room.
We have gemstones, don't we?
I'm not sure. I think you guys spent a fair amount of them when you got to the Feywild. You picked up a bunch of nondescript gems in the Dwarven city.
Yeah.
So as you guys kind of think about it, Willow, as you look around, the rest of the place is pretty bare. You see what looks like the remnants of a table, like it's a raised stone shape from the ground that's right about table height, and you can see some piles of decayed organic matter that you assume might have been chairs. And you can see a place where you looks like maybe a fire pit, but looking around, you're not exactly sure how the smoke would have been removed from the area, because while this is a very big room, it's still a closed room, so burning a fire for a long period of time, you'd eventually get a fair amount of smoke. So what do you guys want to do?
I kind of like just watch everything for a while, and then I'm gonna go like just run my hand along whatever carvings and pictures are around here. Not like to damage them, just to kind of be one with this place.
Mm-hmm.
Try to connect with Willow on a whole other level. Can you make just things now? Can you just make things be? I feel like with everything we saw in the library, I'm supposed to be able to shape reality, and you're supposed to be able to come up with pretty much anything.
Make gods, yes.
It's all ridiculous, but let's try something.
Okay.
Kata, what's the
Michael.
first image you can think of from back in the forest?
Oh. Oh. What?
Is it a plant or an animal or a feeling?
What would it be, Jody?
Probably you had a tree that you used to, depending on the weather and everything, you either slept under or slept in with Mama. So that would probably be your first kind of guttural memory.
Yeah, a tree.
So, I mean, is that stone, does that mean anything to you right now, Willow? The one that she's holding with the flower pattern?
Yeah. It meant something.
Do you remember
It was
what?
healing in some way.
I take a piece of that matter that we think was a chair, and I bring it over and kind of say, put the stone on top of there. And just focus on healing that wood, fixing this chair. This could all be for nothing, but I mean, we have to learn. We have to do something. And as she starts to do that, or I think she's starting to do that, I'm going to focus like through my glove and through the runes to see if we can make this chair a chair.
Okay. So, why don't Fade, you roll me a just straight up wisdom check. Willow, roll me a straight up intelligence check.
$24 for the wisdom.
Shoot.
Oh, and look at Willow's face.
8.
Oh no.
Okay. So,
Gonna
Fade, as
stop
you
using that one
sit
tonight.
there concentrating on the stone and the wood, and you're kind of picturing a chair. You
I'm
sit
picturing
there.
like a tree and a chair, so it's probably gonna get fucked up.
Okay. So you're sitting there focusing on it. Willow, you sit there and you kind of extend your hand and you can feel a connection to everything around you. You can feel the stone beneath your feet, the air going in and out of your lungs. You can feel just the amount of effort and focus that Fade is putting into, and you can feel him starting to draw on his divine powers. And as you sit there focusing harder and harder, you start to feel something, not within you, but within Fade. And it gets more and more powerful. And Fade, you can feel this kind of energy starting deep inside of you, and it almost feels like a rumbling as it gets more and more powerful. And suddenly, and nothing happens.
Oh, I must be hungry. It's all right. I mean, what was gonna happen, really?
You know, reconnect real quick.
And I kind of.
There you go. Go ahead, bye.
Sorry guys, for some reason Roll20 just doesn't want to play nice for me today.
Doesn't want to play nice with anybody. Roll20 has some issues playing
Yeah.
with others. Could use some therapy.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to look at the dead lady. Now, lady, here. What can I do? I mean, I have a grasp, but another one of your servants showed us some text from a long time ago. But I mean, I don't get this. I'm here to do whatever you want. That's the deal I made with you. I've pledged myself to you, and I apologize if this sounds disrespectful, but I don't know what to do. I've been running blind this whole time.
The world was much younger in the text you describe. The creation magic that created it was still very much raw and very easy to grab a hold of and manipulate at will. When the Almighty, or when is it? The mage, what's his name? Magus.
Yep.
The Almighty Magus, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Created the rules for magic, that original primal creation magic was reforged into the weave that you recognize now. So, some of the abilities of the Chosen are outside of your grasp currently. As you grow to understand your power more, you will rely on the weave and my own gifts to you less and less as you fully gain control over your abilities.
It kind of picks up that stone and hands it back to Willow. And looks at Kata.
Hmm?
This weave, is that how you do magic too?
Would it be?
All magic in the world is done through the weave. Each different type of magic interacts with the weave in a different way. But the weave is basically the underlying magic that by manipulating it, you cause things to happen. And each different magic class does it slightly differently. But they all interact with the weave. That's without the weave, magic doesn't happen.
Yep, but slightly differently from you or Willow.
Willow, being a wizard, has a very academic approach, and she understands the weave better than any of you guys because she's studied it. Fade, you.
I started a new notebook, which she's been helping me with.
Your access to the weave is done through your deity. Kata, nature gives you access to the weave. So.
I asked Willow if it would be appropriate to not so much decorate as to construct a rudimentary shrine as a place for me to remember if we ever need to return here. Would that be disrespectful to you in your past? It's something new.
I don't know if Holly has this mind, but Willow does.
You are one in the same. So if you don't
I thought you
mind,
said there was one before.
Polyhymnia is the name of the spirit of inspiration. But you now embody that spirit. It is as part of you as much as your eyes or your heart or your hands. Does your heart do things differently than your lungs or your eyes? No, they all work in harmony.
I go start doing things to set up a shrine to the Dark Lady, which is very awkward as she's right behind me. And I don't want to screw it up, but I have such limited materials. I don't know.
That was the thing I was going to mention is there really are no materials other than the stone around you.
Oh, I know.
So if you want to make an altar, that's fine. You have to tell me how you're getting materials for it.
I am using the stone itself and shaping it.
Shot One Gaming, thanks for the sub. Always nice to have some more people following. So if you have, I know stone shape is a cleric spell. I don't know if you have it prepared. But
Yep, it's got says like 5 feet in dimension. So I'm thinking like I just kind of touch a wall that's not decorated with carving and stuff, and pop out a little shelf and like a little figurine.
What I would say is because a 5 foot cube is a fair amount of stone.
Sure, I don't need that much.
So what I would say is, how long does it last? I think is it an hour or 10 minutes?
It's no. It quick action to use it, and then the stone is just changed.
Okay. So what I would say is to create an altar, you'll burn the spell slot, and it'll take you basically like a ritual casting. Add 10 minutes, and you'll sit there and focus it, and eventually you'll make the altar, and it'll look kind of like it was carved directly out of the stone.
And because while I'm doing it, I'm kind of looking back at the old
She just kind of smiles and nods. Willow, again, you're able to see more than you're used to, and you can see just the slightest bit of embarrassment from the Dark Lady.
Yes.
So it takes about 10-ish minutes. Anything else you guys can do? I'm going to reconnect real quick because I don't have Avok right now. Roll 20, you are awesome. And by awesome, I mean you need to get your shit together.
Can't say, man.
Yes, I can.
Awesome.
So, what do you guys want to do now?
So we were
While
talking
that's
earlier.
happening.
Yeah, I kind of trying to think if she could use one of her spells in order to make things easier in transporting everyone to where the Dark Lady needs to go.
How so? Like a
Windwalk.
Say again?
Windwalk.
Yeah, you think you could windwalk. The issue will be it'll take more than one cast because windwalk lasts about 8 hours. So it'll take more than one casting to get to Corn's Island because it's
that's what I was
on by ship.
worried about.
It was
And
a good
since
like
I'm the
5 to 7 days to get there. You'll actually travel faster as wind than you did on the ship, but it'll probably take a good 3 castings at least, and you have to have a spot to rest because treading water is not a great way to rest.
Yeah, it would be a good way to kill us all, and I don't want to do that.
There are small islands that you can stop on the way to Corn's Island. It'll just take planning is what it'll be.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to use this efficiently because I've only got like a couple of spell slots to use it with.
And then there's also the issue of the island being overrun by zombies.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping there would be a since it's pretty much the only option since I can't use any of my other transportation options. I can't unicorn teleport or use transport via plans. I've never been there before.
Nope. If you have some sort of clairvoyance, you might be able to see there. But as of right now, the best way to get there that you guys are aware of is just to sail. The same way they got there before.
Willow, you helped design those flying ships, didn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying this is a good idea, but where were you guys building those things? Somewhere in the Platinum City, right?
That we went in.
Yeah, you guys went in
We've
through
been there
the
before.
kind of dock where they were building them. So you all seen the place.
I don't suppose you had any place where you're trying out your new ideas, like a prototype lab or anything that maybe didn't get noticed.
That was the prototype lab.
Yeah, it was all in the caves.
Well,
Where was it?
we crashed a bunch of them on the old hideout island. We did tell the pirates about them in case they wanted to salvage them. Maybe we go talk to the pirates.
Too.
Something else?
Hmm.
No. Oh, it was Derp.
Are they worshipping a dragon now?
I mean, yes, but if we take away the dragon, maybe they worship someone in our retinue here. Wink, wink. As I'm like Vanna Whiting the shrine.
Obsidian dragons are known for their really even temperament and just easy ability to be killed by adventurers.
I mean, we got to start somewhere.
We have to get there. Can you can you talk to any? You can send them a message. Some of our old allies.
Yeah.
Find out where they are and if they'd be willing to help us.
Yeah, I'll talk to them. We can even check out where they're at after I talk to them if we really needed to. That's all things that can happen. I mean, what do you think?
Perhaps now would be a good time to return to the base camp and rest. Perhaps get a meal. This body does not contain energy nearly as efficiently as my divine form. And you hear this slight
So on the way, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm with her on this one. I'm bored.
All right.
I mean, we could always spar when we get back. I know your weakness now.
It won't be the same every time.
Come on, guys, let's go back.
Well, it takes one last glance around to them before they leave.
So, heading out, you guys do eventually make it back. It takes better part of 20 minutes to get back to base camp. As you get there, you hear kind of some yelling going on the other side of camp. And you see one of the blacksmiths that you saw before is arguing with this kind of portly Eladrin. He's just kind of waving his hands around you here. I don't believe this. I come here trying to give people all these wonderful things, and I come with all of my items, and they're amazing, and then you're sitting here, and you're telling me that I am not allowed to have space to set up my shop. This is insulting. I am only artificer that came through the portal. All the other artificers, they're over there, and they're like, oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have a pretty shop, and I don't want to go there. No, that's not what I did. What would you guys like to do?
I appear next to Sven as he's doing this rampage. I just walk up real quickly and just kind of stand next to him.
And another thing, I am very, very good friend. You could say that I am the personal supplier of the amazing people that fought the two dragons here. They will be very upset. Oh, hi. Yeah. See, this is my friend. This is he's invisible or translucent. Fade. His name is the Fade.
Oh,
And
hello,
he
Sven.
is best friends with me. Look, see, he doesn't smile. But if you knew him like I know him, you would see that is a Fade smile right there.
I just laugh and walk away without saying anything to him.
See, that is how a friend greets another friend, not like random person that's yelling and screaming his name. That is a friend there. And see, if you do not give a friend of Fade his own spot, then I don't know what you're doing here. And
I look back.
as
Hey,
you're
look,
looking-
it's Sven.
Willow, as you're looking, you can see just this kind of dejected annoyance from the blacksmith. You can almost hear him in your head going, "Please go away." As Sven turns around, he's like, "My friends!" And he comes over. He's like, "Hey, look, there's the big one with the muscles, and then the little one that turns into rocks, and then the smart one, and the Fade. Hi! It's good to see you all. I bet you did not think you'd be seeing Sven again, but no. I will brave an entirely different plane of existence in order to help my friends. That is what I am here for. It's what I do."
I mean, he has a point, officer. He has been helpful in the past, and I think one of the last things we had talked about is him giving us like half off on our next purchase.
Wait. Now I see what you are doing here. I did
I'm-
not think
Oh,
friends
maybe it
would
wasn't
treat
you.
friends
You might not be
like
my
that.
friend. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
Wait. We are still friends. I'm just saying I'm on an entirely different plane of existence. Like, this is not just starting over in a new city. This is starting over in a new reality. I can't just be giving away the things all the time. But you're my friend. I'm here to support you. I make you the items. You pay me for the items because that's how I can make you more of the items. If you just take the items, then I can't make you more of the items because I need the monies. And you have the monies. So I mean, this is good. This is symbiosis. That's what we do. Is we are symbiotes. You know,
Can you work quietly, Sven? Is that something that you can do?
Well, I've never tried it before.
Let's try that. And I look to the guy who was talking to. Can you find him a corner somewhere in the back of the cave,
I can
just to let him
find
try?
You guys are actually out in the ruins. They've set up the base camp in the ruins. He's like, I can find him a very, very nice area, very, very far away from.
Well,
you.
you'd be doing me a favor, sir.
Yes, and you do me a favor because I was asked here by personal invitation of the Eternal Empress. She gave me personal invitation.
Is he telling the truth? I don't believe him for a fucking second.
Go ahead and roll an insight check.
He is full of shit.
I'm doing the same thing.
Okay.
Never mind. I believe him. I fucking believe him.
Me too.
Natural one.
I rolled a 2.
Faye?
I rolled a 22.
Okay, so having lived in a society where doublespeak is common, you recognize what he's saying is technically true. You believe wholeheartedly he did get an invitation from the Eternal Empress. However, you've seen this kind of doublespeak and choosing their words very carefully before. And if you had to take a guess, you'd think probably maybe he got a personal invitation that just happened to go to every artificer in the city or something along that line. Again, you've dealt with people that speak like this before. He's not lying. He's just leaving out tiny little context details.
Well, we'll see you later, Sven. We have to go like fight dragons and save this world too.
Of course you do, because you guys are the best, and I will be here with my items ready to help support you whenever you need it, okay?
Why don't you maybe come up with some fun little moniker or something to say that you know us? People are probably understand who we are by now. You let me know if you can get some branding for us.
Branding. I can do branding. I like marketing. That's my thing, you know? Because like all the items I gave you, I came up with their names myself. It's not
I know
like
you did,
open
and it
up
was
a book.
fantastic.
Okay, you have fun then. I just go over here.
Yeah. Ava turns around, walks away, just saying sort of out loud, "Where the fuck is that Empress?"
I love that guy.
So as you as you guys kind of come back in, you do see an area that's basically been designated as food prep and everything. They are making what looks to be a relatively hearty stew in a massive kettle. So enough basically to feed everyone here, which is hundreds of people. And you can kind of smell potatoes and vegetables, and it smells interesting, some sort of game. You're not sure what, but the smell is just kind of wafting over.
Is it lunchtime, dinner time? What time of day is it?
It's this would be evening meal.
Okay.
Avok walks over to the big kettle pot. Food, finally.
There's a little bit of a line, but it's going relatively quickly. And as you step into the line, you're kind of just given an empty bowl. And as you kind of walk past, there's a table that's just piled high with rolls. And then after that, you just have like 3 people that all have ladles that are just dipping in and spooning out this stew, this big, thick, hearty stew. It takes you about 5 minutes to get to the whole thing. You got a couple rolls and a big old bowl of stew.
Walk back to everybody. Quick, can I have a 16 passive perception. I'm going to assume that the Dark Lady avatar stomach is grumbling. Would I hear that?
You heard it before. It doesn't seem to be grumbling right now, but it grumbled a few times on the way back. So you get the idea she's probably hungry. She's actually gone and just sat down on a bench in the area where other people are kind of eating, and she just has kind of sat down and looks a little bit drained over there.
Avok walks over to her and hands her the bowl of stew and one of the 2 loaves of bread. Hangs on
She
one for
kind of
himself.
looks up and she's kind of shocked at first. She's like, "Thank you, Avok. It's very kind of you."
It's best to not be on an empty stomach when doing things, so eat up. And he walks off.
see her start eating and chewing at the roll.
A tear in Fade's eye as he watches this.
Our little Avok's growing up.
Aww.
I'm assuming you go back for your own food.
Not yet.
Mhm.
You guys hungry? I mean, get in line.
Mm-hmm.
I look around for my mother, as she had mentioned dinner plans.
She that's a good question. Where is your mother right now? As you look around, you actually don't see her immediately, but the base camp is relatively large.
Yep.
And they've started erecting barriers and things like that for sleeping and that. So it's not the kind of open ruins it used to be. There's little structures here and there now. The kitchen area is all open air, though.
I go find a 10-foot pole and I take it.
Okay.
I break it into 3 pieces. I put it in my backpack.
Okay. People look at you kind of strange, and you have one kind of smaller Eladrin kind of come up to you, like just walk up to you as you're doing that, and you just keep getting bigger and bigger as he gets there, and he's about a head and a half shorter than you. So by the time he gets close to you, he's just looking up like this, and he just looks down and goes back.
Willow watches. Okay. I was going to say she watches through the goggles and tries to understand the motivations, but I guess.
You don't need the
She
goggles
just
to
gets it.
understand that motivation.
Nope. Cool.
Avok is big, covered in armors, and has a wicked-looking clawed gauntlet. And to be blunt, he's never been kind of the soft, squidgy-looking Eladrin.
I see her looking at wearing those goggles, and I'm just like, nice. Very cool.
Avok's standing next to Will and sees Fate do that, and it's like, your boyfriend's a dumbass.
Yep.
Eh.
But she watches
Anyways.
a little bit as she's saying it.
Yeah, anyways, you guys hungry? Come on.
Yeah.
Do the rest of you go with Avok to get food?
Yes, food.
I do, but on the way, as long as I'm a pretty far distance away from the Dark Lady, I kind of whispered down to Willow, like, I mean, I get that she is / was / will be a goddess, but I mean, like, she's eating with us and got embarrassed before. Like, I'm not, like, losing my respect, but my opinion of a god is changing very rapidly here. And apparently you can make them.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Things are pretty fucking weird.
Yeah. Kind of feel very out of my depth.
Low 5.
So you guys make it through the food line pretty easily. You go back over by the Dark Lady and all kind of eat your meals as the sun starts to set. And for the first time in a month, you see stars and darkness. And that is where we are going to end it for tonight. So thank you to everyone that showed up today. Always love having people. Thanks to Dalton and for the donation, and Shotgun Gaming for the subscription. If you missed any of the episode, you want to see this, or any of the rest of the 3 years this game has been running, head over to youtube.com/TrainerJody. Have all the episodes here. This episode will be live probably later tonight or tomorrow because I forgot to hit the record button. Normally I record it locally. This one I'll have to just import from Twitch itself. So anyway, that's all for me tonight. Now see you guys next time. All right, bye bye.
Bye, me.